Alright, now I'm here at this beautiful temple here in Ipoh, comparing the differences between the Canon R7 and that of the Canon 90D. Which camera should you get in 2023? Let's find out. So there are a lot of people here celebrating the Mooncake Festival, just going around cherishing their lives and doing prayers, and as well as carrying their students or field trips over here. And most of them are family members coming here to just explore and just have a nice short little vacation. So it is also paramount that we shoot in the R7 and then the 90D, comparing the differences between the 4K capabilities of these two cameras. Alright, and test number 1, let's go baby! This is with the Canon 90D, 25 frames per second, 4K. Oh my gosh, the image looks so good. Here, just look at the kid at the back there with the backpack, so cute. Alright, now the next contender we'll be comparing is the R7 4K 25 frames per second with the same lens. And just like the 90D, the R7 excels at both colors and in sharpness. And here's a screen grab of the R7 zooming in 400%, and we can see the details of the ropes up in the tarp. Here's a screen grab of the 90D zooming in 400%, and oh, we notice that now the ropes at the tarp doesn't seem so sharp anymore. Now let's check out on their faces. And the faces seems okay. It does appear to be a bit softer than the R7. And now we have a second scene set up. The Canon 90D features both cropped and uncropped 4K. So what are the differences between these two? Zooming 400% on the 90D up in this tire wheel thingy. Now comparing side by side on the 90D's 4K uncropped and 4K cropped, I can clearly tell that the 4K cropped has more quality and has more details onto the Chinese characters and of course into the leaves. Now how does the 90D footage stand up against the R7? So this is R7 at 4K fine, which is actually a 7K downsampled 4K, and this is an R7 shot in 4K. Can you tell any difference? And zooming in 400%, and holy Christ, you can tell the 4K fine versus 4K mode. The 4K mode just seems super muddy. Now putting it on side by side for all 4K modes on the R7 and the 90D, now I can see aside from the sharpness, the colors are indeed different. So the colors in the 90D just appears a little bit more natural to me. Now let's rank this according to sharpness. The number 1 would be the R7 at 4K fine. It just blows everything out from the water, considering now it downsamples from 7K as expected. Going back into the 4K in the R7, I'm actually honestly really disappointed at how it looks, because the 90D blows it out from the water just like that. It looks like a 1080 that's being stretched out. So I'm very disappointed with the R7's 4K. Alright, now let's talk about dynamic range and how does the ISO works for both these cameras as I go up from the lowest ISO up to the highest ISO. So on the left of this image is the Canon 90D, on the right is the R7. Now overall, both cameras do handle ISO pretty okay. Like, you wouldn't be expecting to be shooting at 12,800 ISO and be hoping that it will look cinematic. Now neither of these cameras can do 240 frames per second, but I often find less of a need for the 240 frames per second unless if you're a product videographer. Now the main differences between the R7 and that of the 90D, of course, is the price. You're paying a little bit more for the R7, but you're getting a heck more features from that of the R7. Now coming in at the 4K features, you get 4K up to 60 frames per second on this one, but this one maxes out at 4K 30. 4K 60, it's a big difference. Like, you can actually get slow motion videos at this at 4K, whereas this you have to go 1080 at 60 frames per second. This is probably the reason why you want to buy this instead of this. So overall, what do you think of these two cameras? Do you actually prefer the R7, which is going to cost you a little bit more? Or do you consider buying the 90D instead? So alright, that pretty much wraps this video. Pretty fun video, and I love to see you guys again in the next video. Goodbye.